told you once that being transgender was a mental disorder. Then quietly they changed their minds. Now they say it's normal. But what changed? The biology didn't change. The science didn't change. Only the language did. And that should make you ask why. In the DSM-4, the official manual of psychiatry, it was called gender identity disorder. In the DSM-5, they replaced it with gender dysphoria. Suddenly, the identity was no longer the problem. Only the distress was. The World Health Organization went even further, moving it out of mental disorders altogether. But here's the weakness. If a condition requires a lifetime of hormones, surgeries, and interventions to function, how can you honestly call it normal? You can't. They've sugar-coated the words, but not the reality. This change wasn't driven by new breakthroughs. It was driven by politics, by pressure, by fear of stigma. And in doing so, the medical establishment crossed a line. They told us they were following science, but the evidence wasn't settled. Europe proved it. Sweden, Finland, Norway, and the UK have pulled back, restricting treatments for minors, calling them experimental, even shutting down entire clinics. These are not far-right governments. These are some of the most progressive nations in the world. If Europe is backing off, why is America pushing harder? What does that tell you? And then there's the money. Puberty blockers can cost $30,000 a year. Cross-sex hormones are lifelong prescriptions. Surgeries cost tens of thousands, with more follow-up care. Once a child is placed on this path, they are a medical patient for life. Does that sound like compassion, or does it sound like a business model? The medical industrial complex has created a permanent customer base, and history has taught us, when profit drives medicine, truth is the first casualty. So ask yourself, are we being told the truth, or are we being told the politically convenient version of the truth? They changed the language, but they didn't change reality. And now it's not just the credibility of the medical establishment at stake, it's the health of people. If treatments create lifelong dependence, if the evidence is weak, and if regret and suffering follow, that isn't compassion, it's betrayal. And when we see a troubling rise in violence connected to this small population, we must ask, are minds being healed, or are they being harmed? My friends, we are all anonymous, and we will not portray compassion with lies.
Picture this. The people rise up tomorrow, overthrow the government, and the government can't do a thing to stop it. But then what? You think you'd be free to rebuild everything from scratch? Or would the next regime, already waiting in the shadows, step in before the dust even settles? Every nation has continuity plans, hidden alliances, unelected power structures, and secret treaties that outlive elections. You just rip off the visible mask while the real machinery stays untouched. Banks, corporations, intelligence networks, they don't need flags to run the world. You could burn the Capitol, dismantle the military, even erase the Constitution, and still, the global system would quietly put the pieces back together exactly how they want them. Maybe that's why every revolution in history ends with different faces, but the same chains. So the real question is, if the game is rigged no matter who's in charge, would overthrowing the government even change anything? You be the judge. If you are awake, you already know what to do.
Did you know that lottery winners have a statistically impossible connection to government agencies? When researchers analyzed major jackpot winners over the past 2 decades, they discovered something shocking. Nearly 40% had previous careers in intelligence, defense contracting, or federal agencies. The odds of this happening randomly? Less than 1 in 847 million. But it gets stranger. These winners often donate massive portions back to government programs within months of winning. Some conspiracy theorists believe state lotteries use quantum computing to manipulate number sequences. They point to excluded combinations that would create too many winners and jackpots that mysteriously spike during budget crises. The timing seems too perfect. Major jackpots often occur just before states need emergency funding. Internal documents allegedly show research into probability manipulation using quantum algorithms. The same technology that can predict particle behavior could theoretically control random number generation. If true, the lottery isn't gambling at all. It's a sophisticated wealth redistribution system disguised as chance.